the sunset.
That wasn't too hard. Prepare for battle.
Thank you, Shiver. Cinderin.
Yes.
Not
That
laughing.
wasn't too
Holy shit. What? Did you wake up on the wrong side of the bed today, young man? Did you see my shirt, by the way? Look at my shirt. Open it up. Take a gander.
Oh. You switched for that. You switched for it when it got picked, right?
I have. You really think I switch clothes that often, Cinderin?
Actually, no. You were wearing it the last 5 days.
Yes, just waiting for one team to finally pick Nyx Assassin. What a... I really don't like this hero, actually. I'm not a fan, personally, but can you tell me why they picked Nyx? I'm actually interested. And I think that,
good
like,
question.
What was that, third, fourth?
I think that's one of the things that's so interesting about this OG team is that I think a lot of the times when they do these creative strategies, there's no... It's not immediately obvious why they're picking the heroes that they are. And I think sometimes it's going to click after the game, and sometimes maybe it's an experiment for themselves where they're not... Like, they have an idea, but it's not... Maybe it doesn't work out exactly the way they want. What I imagine here is that they're considering Nyx a pretty decent counter to Bloodseeker, because you have a guaranteed way of stunning him every fight. He has to cast Blood, right? You can always Carapace that spell. You can't really rupture Nyx either without getting stunned. He will always be able to Carapace stun you. So there's like some sort of guaranteed way of controlling that hero in the spot. And on top of that, you have another hero. Nyx was picked third, right? So they saw Lina... They saw Lina, Bloodseeker, and Undying, I believe, at the time. Good hero matchup against the Lina. Again, Carapace against ground cast spells like Light Strike Array and Dragon Slave, you're gonna get stunned, you can't do the full combo. And on top of that, maybe they just like it as a lane support for a ranged hero. Usually you want a melee support in this patch, I would say, when you have a ranged carry in the safe lane. You want some sort of boy to just go in front and tank up. You see him right now, blocking out that Aramis stun. And trading. Yeah, not gonna win this trade.
I think the most interesting thing, although this Clink's pick, as the panel was kind of talking about, has not been picked in this tournament so far. Mid one is going to be using that hero. I know you're a real fan of this hero, especially when he got changed back to like the 5th time that Death Pact is his ultimate now. That's a bit of an exaggeration, but you kind of get the gist. They don't really have one of those like crazy combos where you eat an Enchantress creep, which I assume still works. So what's the deal with this hero?
I'm wondering if they like it against... Because, like, the strafe isn't particularly good here, right? The ranged evasion doesn't matter that much against these Radiant heroes. It's a Sven. Like, a Sven with Ags seems like a pretty bad matchup for Clinks. But it could be that OG have... A lot of the times when they build these strategies, there's like some insane timing. Like maybe they have a strategy where Clinks hits this item along with this item on Batrider, and then they're just going to roam the map and fight everywhere. Maybe it's like a macro strategy around the map where they're like, okay, Viking, when they played these last games in the series they played very slow and very farm intensive. We're just going to play heroes that roam the map and break them apart. Batrider, Earth Spirit, Clinks fits that bill for sure, and Nyx. So that might be the primary approach. It's just the bigger picture rather than matchups or a specific hero timing in the game. I know I'm just saying a lot of maybes, and that's really because this strategy is so unusual that we have like no data on this strategy in this patch. Like there's so many.
I would prefer that you be honest than actual just bullshit your way to an answer. You know,
I'm being honest.
The beauty of you. I know. That's why I appreciate you. You know, when nobody else does, I truly do appreciate your honesty.
Oh,
if you don't know anything,
Celery is burning a lot.
Yep. That's 4 stacks of sticky napalm. Make that 5 as Celery's going to continue to get chased down by Ceb, who's going to dive to tier 1 tower. So this will be a trade of sorts. But First Blood does go the way of Ceb and OG.
You're generally really happy with it as Batrider. Yeah, you trade away and Sven gets the kill, but because it's First Blood, Batrider as a hero in lane really loves getting these fast boots and 1 extra item. It's a very momentum-based hero. We'll see if he goes straight for travels. We could see Ceb going for maybe a drum build-up, maybe some sort of alternative utility item like Yules, whatever he thinks is good in the game. But usually trading 1 for 1 where you get the First Blood is fine. I really like when it happens and I'm Batrider. It's just so nice, and you expend so many resources. The enemy team uses a lot of resources too to take that fight. You get the refill, you get a kill. Straight back in action. And again, Celery's actually... Oh, I think this time there won't be a trade, Shannon. I think he's actually just flat out going to die.
That is a lot of damage. Another 5 stacks of sticky napalm.
At all. They seem a little unfamiliar with this with this lane matchup. They got... Did they both get sticky together 4 times in a row, I want to say?
Well, Shad still has 7 stacks, but I don't know if Ceb can actually pursue this.
Oh, he has flame break.
8 stacks, here it comes.
Oh my god.
More aggression from Saksa. That is an actual super easy kill once that many stacks are upon him. Alright, good lord.
You know what the word is for this? That's disrespect. Yeah. If you don't start yielding to bat as a melee hero when you have 5 or 6 stacks and you start farming creeps, you're just not respecting the hero. I guess he wasn't accounting for the possible skill point in flame break, but if bat just level up to 4, you're giving him the chance and the opportunity to do it. He's gonna take it.
Yeah, and now Ceb is gonna be able to get some solo XP now that Saksa is roaming towards mid. We'll see if he can turn this into a kill of sorts. This is the lane we haven't talked about. Boom playing Zeus versus Topson's Morphling, which is what the panel were kind of predicting here. How does that matchup work out? The
awesome lane for Morph.
Zeus.
I don't see what Zeus does. Zeus is all about the constant harassment to dominate the lane, and Morphling presses 2 buttons and heals 500. So I don't think Zeus can really bully him at this point. It's about... Zeus is really good against Morph later in the game in terms of having that insane burst when Morph is trying to go for a play with high agility. But currently, you can spam Arc Lightning all you want. Morph is just gonna outrange you, heal up again, and keep going. However, if he does Morph down to try to get value out of his regen, there is a Bloodseeker giving Thirst plus Zeus ulti. So he can actually get killed globally at any point if he's not careful when he does the attribute shift.
That's true.
That is going to be funny to watch if that happens, actually. It's pretty likely to happen at least once.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, OG only gets 1 bounty rune at the 5-minute mark, so that's something going the way of Viking. We technically have the network lead right now. Shad on Sven. We saw this yesterday. We did cast their series where they lost 2-0 to VP, and it was in pretty convincing fashion. It wasn't really that close at any point. But we're seeing the phase boots into Midas. So I'm just starting... We talked about this a bit yesterday as well, where you thought it might be game dependent, but it seems to me that it's basically just player preference at this point. Would you agree with that?
Phase boots are really good against Batrider. I think he has a very good case for it in this game. Having a way of improving your turn rate against sticky napalm is really valuable, and increasing your move speed against Bat, like creating a gap, is nice. But you could still go Phase Boots Mom, right? It's the fact that he is prioritizing the Midas every time does indeed seem like that's just his go-to build, but correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like most Svens this patch go to Mask of Madness, but Shad doesn't seem to be that big of a fan. Celery, oh, they missed the flame break, actually kicked him away. Just a mistake from Saksa there. I think he failed to drop a stone, and that probably saved Celery's life. So, count his lucky stars there.
Indeed, so no kills to come from that, at least not yet. Saksa is chasing on Undying's Courage, so a little bit mismanagement there from Celery. He's going to take Stormhammer to the back of the head, but we'll be just fine. As Sub comes for some moral support, has that bottle. Already got the bounty rune earlier, so has just been spamming away at his heart's content. Toby has kind of been kept in check in this top lane as well, as it's basically a 2v1 for now. But we have seen a bunch of spike carapaces like you were talking about. But even with that counter, it's just, I mean, it's good in the laning stage. We'll see how it progresses throughout the game. Because based on the Nyx games that I've seen, it just feels like the hero falls off dramatically, especially if you don't have a good mana burn target throughout the duration of the game.
Yeah.
As bottom lane, Ceb is just chasing Celery, 4 stacks of sticky napalm as a TP support is on the way. Shad gets up a Stormhammer. There's the LSA connecting from Aramis, who's just TP'd in for support, but it's a 1-for-1. Viking will take that trade any day.
Yeah, that's pretty... I mean, yes and no at the same time, because you were the team that had to TP rotate, so now your Bloodseeker's that bit more vulnerable, but at the same time, how are Clinks plus Nyx gonna kill this guy right now? That is kind of hard to see.
Bottom tower is under attack.
It's probably fine. Oh, Aramis is gonna meet Saksa in the river.
Gets off the Dragon's Blade silence shortly after those. Saksa's not gonna be able to roll and connect. That could have been a setup for a kill with Topson here. Topson just waveforms in to Boom. Celery's gonna come from some support as well. Topson does have that bottle. We'll be getting this DD rune. Looks like he's just gonna go straight for the shotgun, the E-Blade. First item.
Yeah, some good synergies in this team too. It's not only about his own single target burst, but they can synergize it with Earth Spirit, with the Batrider, and with the Nyx. Clinks, not a fan, but the rest of his team really do love some E-Blade action. I think it's also, again, it's about the bigger picture of how they want to play the game, right? If OG are aiming for this playstyle at around the mid-late game where they just start chasing heroes around the map and disrupting farm patterns, then E-Blade is your go-to ganking item on Morphling. It's the highest damage per gold you can possibly get in that stage of the game. So yeah, I like it. I think OG things are going according to plan. Like, it's not fully clean, but considering what the heroes they have and how relatively weak they could be in the lane stage, the fact that they've broken even, I think you're pretty happy with that.
Yeah, it looks like OG has spotted this stack of Ancients here in Viking's Triangle. They're going to ward it up with Soxa as well. Try to block things out, but that's obviously a Sven target, as Undying's going to die in the bot lane, but we're going to focus on this triangle for now, as Boom's going to get some help with Armis with the LSA connecting onto Soxa, but very little mana for Boom to actually finish anybody off here. So Soxa rolls away to safety. But it looks like Ceb got that kill on Undying in the bot lane. So Ceb is off to a really good start. Second in net worth, 4 and 2. Is that on the way right now?
Yep, 9-minute travels in on an offlane bat. That's a very good timing. If it's mid, it's more or less the norm to have it around this time or maybe a bit earlier if you're having a good game. But in that offlane, it's a really, really nice timing. And let's keep in mind, it negated a lane dominator as well. You won the lane against Undying. That is half the hero's purpose, is winning this lane, and it failed. So yeah, Sven's farm is alright, but your own game on Undying is not hot right
lane.
now.
We're going to see the Rupture for the first time this game into the Blood Right. It's going to be an easy kill onto mid one. So Clink's obviously a good target to be able to lock down like that.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Fortunately, No-Tail did use Spike Carapace, but that's really not going to do a whole lot against 3 other heroes. But question is, can Sven come and farm this camp? He has Iron Talon, so that'll definitely help. He has his Midas, which he has already used. So, I mean, in terms of timing, it's like, you may not like the Mask of Madness will help him farm Ancients a little bit easier, but he's farming decently well at the very least right now. He's just only going to amplify now that the Ancients are here. Here we go.
Radiant's middle tower is under
attack. They have not dewarded this ward as of yet, but should be a freebie for them. Does require 3 of them to be in the vicinity, though, just to make sure he can get this. More stacks to come as well in this medium camp. So we'll be going for the Echo Saber first, and then depending on the game, do you like Ags after that, or like a BKB perhaps?
Ags is amazing against Clinks, but I don't know how well it fares against the rest of the lineup. The Nyx Carapace can be pretty annoying for him to deal with, I would imagine. You're also playing against Batrider, who really... You don't really want to jump into this hero. Not necessarily, like, oh, wait a second. This is a really good roll.
Very nice flame break. He's going to get the lasso off as well. It's going to be an easy kill, but the question is, can OG get out before the rest of these reinforcements end up taking them down? Ceb able to Firefly to the lower side of the map here, but Shad is there waiting. But again, he doesn't really have that much damage, and Ceb is super fast. Toby does have Rupture. We'll be getting on the TP. He's going to be there, and it's enough. Ceb gets away.
That is so much space.
Soxa got away as well. My goodness.
That is so much space. And OG are immediately going to use that to take over the triangle as well. No-Tail gets in there. He blocks the big camp again, and body blocks the medium camp. So a lot of farm being taken away from the Sven at this point. In the meantime, all 3 of OG cores are pretty happy in this game. It's only really the Sven for Viking that's doing well. Okay, Sox is just rolling by for efficiency here. So I was also thinking about, so we were, oh, hang on, Nyx is fine. Yeah. We were talking about how Nyx has a tendency of falling off later in the games if mana burn isn't good enough. I think
Radiant are scanning.
I want to say there's a second thing that makes Nyx really good, and that is if Carapace is consistently valuable. And usually what makes it fall off is that heroes get BKB, right? But if you look at this game, there's a couple of heroes that Carapace is really good against that really don't want to get BKB. The Lina 4 doesn't want to buy it. The Bloodseeker probably doesn't want to buy it either as a 3. And then you have the Zeus, who also doesn't want to buy it as a mid. Sven wants to buy it eventually, but he'll probably get another item on the way. So I think Nyx will maintain pretty good fighting value for a while in this game. And you can see he prioritizes it, right? He's going 1-1-4, not even maxing Impale or at least getting extra points in it. Sometimes you see 3-1-2, sometimes you see 2-1-4. Flat out just instantly boosting up that Carapace. His most valuable spell this game.
Yep, definitely prioritizing that. Mid one, by the way, picks up an Orchid. Was trying to get a kill with that. We'll talk about that in just a moment, as No-Tail's going to get Laguna Bladed. Does get the Spike Carapace off, which, again, Blood Right. And will get Ruptured, though, and brought down very shortly after with Okay, Zeus wants it.
Oh, he died.
All right, boom. You got it, buddy.
Is under attack.
So, Clinks is an interesting hero in terms of itemization, historically speaking. Orchid used to be a thing a long time. Okay, things could have changed by now. I haven't really seen him recently. Orchid used to be a very common thing for him a long time ago. But I want to say in his last iteration, it was rarely picked up. It was mostly just like a desolator into like Diffusal or something like that, as Toby is going to get destroyed. So talk to me about this Orchid on this iteration of Clinks, which is the super old version, I guess we could call it.
It's a good way of keeping the mana flowing. Hero has inherent mana issues because you want to use Searing Arrows all the time for farm efficiency. Skeleton Walk is 75 mana, you cast it all the time to run around. You want to use Death Pact off cooldown, so there's a lot of things that you need to keep going. It solves that problem, and it gives you solo kill potential. Again, fitting OG's strategy of catching heroes off. You want to buy the item that allows this Clinks to pose a solo kill threat. No tail, Carapace.
Tail gets off the Vendetta as well, but there's Shad getting lassoed up and brought down immediately. A terrible loss there for Viking, but they're going to continue to fight, it looks like, as they're showing off the Orchid. A beautiful impale from No Tail onto 2. Into the roll-in from Sox. It doesn't have his Magnetize under 45 seconds. Seb continuing the pressure with that Flame Break as the Blood Right's going to deal a little bit of damage, but in the meantime, 4 have died for Viking. OG are just running away with this. I don't want to call the game. It's not even remotely close, obviously, as Thompson does have the E-Blade, by the way, but this is looking like Viking from yesterday, where they're just, it's so far has not been that close, which is not what we saw in the group stage at all with this team.
And one of the things that's a common denominator in their games, in my opinion, is that they draft lineups that lack a little bit of play potential, right? They had 2 mid-Dooms yesterday and offlane Tides, and today they have a mid-Zeus and an offlane Bloodseeker. So what's your catch? Like, how do you start fights? How do you put pressure on the opponent? You're very much reliant on farming your side of the map with the Sven and protecting it, but you don't have good ways of solving when you get skirmished on. You don't have any save, except Soul Rip, but Soul Rip's really not good in this game against these heroes. They're going to get repositioned by Lasso. He's going to get Sounds. Earth Spirit's going to jump the backline. Morphling one-shot bursts people, so you don't even get to heal them. I think strategically they're just a bit too inactive in their games. And it's interesting to me because Viking, one of the things that really stood out to me and impressed me a lot about this team was their willingness to push towers and make moves. When they kind of made a splash, they ran these strategies where they had Dragon Knight and they're playing Boom on his Queen of Pain, seemingly destroying every game until it got banned. And now they've fallen back to this more farm-intensive style, and it doesn't seem to be suiting them that well, at least in the games we've been casting so far. It's giving the initiative to the opponent.
Yeah, but the good news for them is that, well, I say that now, it could be bad news. This is a best of 5, so they'll have plenty of time in this series. Of course, a bit unusual for like a lower bracket type game, but cool to see in terms of, again, our game's not over yet, but see if they can transition away. But Artemis looks to be done, so another easy pickoff for OG, as looks like Thompson is going for Aghanim Scepter's second item. I can only imagine what Clink's Morphling is like with that combo. That sounds disgusting.
I think he wants to turn into Earth Spirit primarily, actually.
Well, yeah, I've seen the clip of him doing, was it him?
Oh, Shad.
Shad is going to get spotted out here. Double PP support coming. The E-Blade is going to be applied into the Adaptive Strike. No Tail with another great impale. Looks like Shad's going to be able to get off his stun, but he lives through the day as OG is now on the retreat. Toby ends up getting off the Rupture. They do take out the Undying, but Thompson able to clean up poor old Toby. So it's a 2-for-0 still, but they at least do not lose the Sven.
Yeah, surprised he lived there.
Yeah, I think they just lost vision in the trees. Seen the perma-stun combo between Sox. Was it? Who was it? It was Thompson and somebody.
Oh, good Carapace.
All right.
Yeah, that's filthy.
All right. Good clean stuff.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
So only 1,000 away for Thompson to get this Aghanim Scepter. Still has
Say
Agent.
only a 10,000 gold lead.
Only a 10,000 gold lead for OG.
Great outlook.
Not too big of a lead at the 18-minute mark. Viking definitely have a good chance this game, as long as they team wipe OG about 5 times in a row right now. Toby able to get the illusion rune there. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I was a bit skeptical on Nyx Assassin, but being picked for literally one spell seems to have worked out quite well. And No Tail has had some really good impales despite it only being level 1.
To me, the big story of this game is how insanely well their bottom lane went. I think this game has been run largely by Bat and Earth Spirit that just made so many moves. And
all right, well, No-Tail,
he's in trouble.
He is ruptured. Did mitigate a little bit of that damage with the spike carapace, but is brought down eventually. Sox is going to de-ward here. Thompson still with the Aegis, so not really scared of anybody right now. And Viking is here in numbers. Meanwhile, OG just kind of playing with their food, it looks like. Chad is going to pop that ult. They're going to take down Sox in quick succession. So 2 for nothing.
Ambitious roll.
Indeed.
Instant punish.
Is under attack.
Sox really likes these heroes that have balls. Have you noticed that? Tusk, Earth Spirit. There's another hero out there. There's the Zeus ult, but it's not going to be nearly enough to take anybody out. The Undying just melts. As that is the Deso reveal, I do believe, for mid 1. So Orchid, this is like such an old school build. I love it. It's going to be going for a BKB now.
It's insanely powerful right now. He hits for 250 and has... He can solo kill any hero, including... maybe not the Sven, but I think he can kill anyone else. If he gets melee range or hits them and just hits them, I think they're going to die before they escape. They have no Ghost Scepters, no Force Staffs, no Yules. He's probably just gonna kill them off immediately. So, gotta be careful with that. And it does mean that Vikings' options of playing the map are very limited. They're gonna be extremely paranoid to go and solo push out waves. So you're seeing Shad top. I think under normal circumstances he kills this wave, but he just can't go there. There's any combination of any 2 of OG's heroes is actually a kill. He has backup, so...
Atos is there for now, but he is so fast and has a Blink Dagger Force Staff on top of the Boots of Travel. So he is beyond mega farmed for a Batrider. 3rd in net worth overall in the game, just ahead of mid 1 on Clinks, actually. And that's with an Iron Talon Clinks as well, so able to actually do Ancients. As Ceb is ruptured up, just going to sidestep the Blood Right. So that ends up being a wasted rupture, and we'll see if OG can capitalize on this. Toby's going to be caught out. No-Tail with the Vendetta. Has a spike carapace up, not really doing anything with that, but the Impale does connect, and again, Stellary finds his way to the grave. Courtesy of your Morphling, and Armis looks to be next, and OG are just completely dumpstering right now. There's the Earth Spirit Morphling combination being shown with that Aghanim Scepter.
I think, you know what, I know why OG run this strategy. It just dawned on me. Saksa and Thompson both want to play Earth Spirit every game, and they couldn't settle who plays it. So they just made a strategy where they can both play it. So it's not just a flex pick, they're just picking it for both of them at the same time.
I wouldn't put it past them.
Great.
You know? Yeah, I would not put it past them at all.
It is such an insane hero for Morphling to turn into. You get all of the stones every time, I believe, you turn into Earth Spirit. You have 7 stones to play, so you can just roll through fights. You can go from one target to the next, to the next, to the next. You get insane mobility, you get extra spell damage to synergize with your E-Blade. It's just
well, that would be
it's a new Morph Shaker,
good way. That would be a good way to nerf it. You just get their current stones instead of max right away.
Oh yeah, I could be wrong on this, but I'm pretty convinced you get max every time.
I just assumed you're right, but you're right. You've been wrong so many times that I can't just take your word for it.
I have feelings too, you know? I used to.
This is where we get a message like, why are you so mean to Synderen?
Why are OG so mean to Viking, though?
Yeah, this is...
Let them
this is a rough
farm a
showing
bit.
for Viking, no doubt. Well... You're right about the rigidity. Is that a word? I think so. Rigidity of their drafts. And maybe it's something that has just been discovered about them based on their group stage. They had a lot of games to play, and they did really well. We're seeing some counters now. As the initiation from OG is underway. Shad's going to get kicked away to the other side of the map, basically. Has his ultimate activated along with the BKB, so he's not going to be brought down quite yet. Has no casualties thus far as No-Tail. Going to get that spike carapace off, but the BKB is just going to ignore literally every part about that. But in the meantime, this fight is quite segregated. Toby's going to be the trade, so it's a 1-for-1 across the board, which at this stage of the game, better than you can expect for Viking, based on the fact that they're down 17k right now. But Aegis is gone, and Roche, we'll see in about 20 seconds when he will be up. as there's the initiation. Again, this is how many deaths for Undying. Not to highlight this, but 1 in 10. Just feels like he has died so many times. It's like the first to die in most of these engagements. There's the initiation from Ceb, and Shad is in a lot of trouble, and by that I mean he's dead. Does not have buyback to speak of. They're just going to call it GG, as this game 1 was all OG.
Complete beatdown. And I want to... Now that we've cast 3 games of Viking in a row, you and I think we want the same thing from them, right? We need to see...